Welcome once again to Musings by Danon. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Danon. I'm currently reading over 600 manga and light novels, and my two favorite genres are fantasy and romance. So on this channel, we talk a lot about both those genres. But we tend to look more into story structure and tropes rather than how cool the fight scenes are or how great the animation or artwork is. Which brings me to the subject of today's video, the Impregnable Demon King's Castle and the expelled Black Mage of the hero's party. I know. We're all tired of the I got kicked out of the hero's party but I was actually the strongest stories. There are a few good ones, but most are just awful. They're autistic fantasies. You thought I was weak, but I was the only reason your party was successful, and now that I'm gone, your party will fall apart. Even if our main character isn't thinking those exact thoughts, it's basically what happens. Now, as I said, for every 10 bad ones in this genre, there are a couple of good ones. Sure, banished from the hero's party, I decided to live a quiet life in the countryside starts out with the main character getting kicked from the party, and yes, the party falls apart almost immediately. But that story is more focused on destiny and the struggle against fate, rather than, look at me, I'm the strongest. Looking at you, Beast Tamer and Jack-of-all-trades Party of None. Both of you are examples of just how bad this trope can be. Even though Beast Tamer is just fun trash and doesn't take itself too seriously like Jack-of-all-trades tries to. Another good example is From Leveling Up the Hero to Leveling Up a Nation. Though that one started out great, but has since jumped the shark, so I might not want to use that as an example anymore. Regardless, a lot of us are already sick of this trope. It is becoming more pervasive than isekai, and people regularly complain about it. So, why am I doing a video about it again? Well, stick with me and I think you'll see why. Also, and I know it's annoying to keep hearing this, but statistically if I don't ask you to like and subscribe, the video gets fewer subscribers. Oh, one more quick announcement before we get started. I'm streaming on Gaming with Danon as well as Twitch. Sometimes I'm building commander decks, other times I'm playing Final Fantasy XIV, but you're always welcome to pop in and talk about manga. Honestly, about half my streams are talking about manga, anime, or commander. Allow me to set the scene for the Impregnable Demon King's Castle and the expelled Black Mage of the hero's party. In this world, heroes, demon kings, monsters, and even adventurers don't kill each other anymore. Instead, adventuring is big business. Adventurers and monsters both use magic to create avatars of themselves that then enter dungeons. These dungeon raids are streamed as a form of entertainment. The more powerful and flashy you are, the more money you can earn streaming. Heroes who swing swords made of fire, paladins whose shields glow with protective runes, white mages who protect their allies, and even archers who mow down enemies with their accurate shots are all hailed as heroes. But black mages? Black mages are boring. No one likes them. They honestly kinda suck. Unlike Final Fantasy, where black mages wield tremendous destructive power, hurling elemental fire and ice at their opponents, in this world, black mages are more like witches. They curse enemies, slowing them down, dulling their senses, and confusing their minds. All of these are great effects and highly useful to have on your side. But because it isn't visually appealing, black mages have committed the cardinal sin of all entertainment. They're boring. Black magic is silent. It doesn't have any splashy effects. Even in a world without hit point meters, you can see wounds being healed by white magic. Some white mages can enhance physical abilities to the point that viewers can see muscles bulking up. But there's no debuff bar above the monsters' heads. So, unless you're an expert, you won't really see what the results are. Like all these series, our main character, Rem, is kicked out of the hero's party and replaced with someone flashier. But the party's dynamic falls apart. As it turns out, the warrior wasn't as strong as he thought he was. The hunter couldn't shoot as fast, and the paladin couldn't defend against strong monsters. A large portion of their success was due to Rem's debuffs. I'm reminded a bit of World of Warcraft. Now, I stopped playing WoW years ago and refused to give Blizzard any more money, especially after all their controversies and drama. But once upon a time, there were classes that played more of a support role than a pure DPS role. In a 25-man raid, you had healers, tanks, DPS, and support. In Burning Crusade, Shadow Priests would help to restore the mana of the mages. Warlocks would put up curses to deal more damage. Shamans would put down totems that helped the melee deal more damage. All of these were important and helped raids clear bosses, but they weren't tracked on damage meters. And in Wrath of the Lich King, the shields created by Discipline Priests weren't tracked on healing meters. But smart raid leaders knew what those priests were capable of, so we did have a spot. Unfortunately, Phoenix the Fire Hero, childhood friend of Rem and the party leader, isn't that smart. Rem agrees to quit the party over the protests of his childhood friend, and is left wondering what to do. Black Mage is the least valued party member, so who could be desperate enough to hire him? After all, no one wants a Black Mage. While wandering the streets after quitting his party, Rem overhears an argument. A fruit vendor is being yelled at by a passerby. No one wants your gross fruit. The child, a demi-human, is devastated. Rem steps in to see what the issue was. Apparently, the girl, Cashew by name, wanted to sell a fruit that looked ugly but was still tasty. Look, I'll be honest, I never understood the whole visual appeal of food. To me, the most important parts about food are a combination of texture, flavor, and smell. I don't mean to brag, but I'm a pretty good cook. To the point that I don't bother eating out at most restaurants. Because I can cook the food better at home. My specialty is a Cajun Alfredo. Yes, you heard that correctly. But it looks like slop. It is not pretty in any sense of the world. But it tastes amazing, and to me, that's most important. And Rem was reminded of this by Cashew. Just because an apple is ugly on the outside doesn't mean it can't be tasty. And just because a Black Mage isn't flashy and exciting doesn't mean he's not effective. So Rem buckles down and tries to find a job. Unfortunately, no one, and I mean not one single party, is recruiting a Black Mage. But there is someone interested, and she has cute little bat wings near her ears. For those who aren't familiar with anime tropes, that means she's a vampire. So Rem heads back to the fruit stand and chats with the fruit vendor and Cashew. While he was spending some time getting to know them, it turns out Cashew was working at such a young age to help her family. A thief appears, wielding a knife. Rem asks the fruit vendor to stand in front of the thief, and he does. Rem then proceeds to drop every debuff imaginable on the thief. The man can't see, can't think, and can barely move. Now, the crowd sees a brave fruit stand vendor stand up to the thief and even punch him, taking him down. But one person saw what actually happened. A vampire. A vampire who happens to be a fan of Rem's. And she comes not just to praise him, but to offer him a job. The two wander through the streets, and it is obvious that she is very nervous talking to Rem. She's fangirling, and more than a little bit. Rem tries to play the humble card, but the vampire reminds him that he's the strongest Black Mage in the world. There are only 3 Black Mages in the top 50 raid teams, and he is the only one in the top 10. The group he was in was ranked 4th in the world, and she believes he was a major contributor to their team getting so far. Eventually, the two reach their goal, the Demon King's castle. She introduces herself as Milla, but her real name is Carmilla. She is a floor boss of the Dungeon of the Demon King, and the job she has for Rem is to join their side. The two go inside and meet up with Lucy, the ruler of demons. And the job they're offering him? Staff officer. He would basically become the second in command of the Demon King's castle. But why would the Demon King want to put him in such a high rank? Milla actually pointed it out to her boss. There is no way a human has the abilities that Rem has unless he was trained by an ancient and powerful master. As it turns out, the former Demon King, Lucy's grandfather, was Rem's master. The training he went through as a child was hell, but now he's strong enough to become the hero. Not a hero in a traditional sense, but a hero for the monsters. Those whom the general public considers lesser. Rem has the power to show that the demons are not to be trifled with. And because everyone is fighting with magical avatars, he can destroy everyone and not feel any guilt. So far, we've only really covered the first 4 chapters of the series, and I don't want to get into spoiler territory. If you decide to read it, you can pick it up over on Bookwalker. Link down below. Let me know what you think, or if there are any other series where the main character gets kicked out of the hero's party that you actually enjoy. Leave a comment down below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cutestuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Dana. There are several tiers to choose from. You can pick an anime or manga for me to do a video about, or you can join our monthly manga club. I also want to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Marcus, Brett, Roxy, Alix, Robert, Pi, Kazaris, Patrick, Boomy, Oscar, Justin, Golden Walker, Sleech, Mr. Salty, Daniel, Zombie, Luke, Brian, Richard, and Jeff. You guys are awesome. I post anime or manga videos often, or you can click here to watch additional videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Musings by Dana.